It has become a weird time tradition to do predictions on this show just because of the way the schedule lined up. Here we are again. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 12 of Under the Middle Rope. I'm your host, Jose Tawada. And yes, this Sunday is WWE Backlash, which means it is our Backlash prediction show. What else is there to say? I mean, like I said, the way that the schedule has lined up with Money in the Bank, with Double or Nothing, it just feels like this podcast is all predictions, and it's not. Trust me, it's not. Hopefully in the next few weeks or so, we can get everything normal again, talk about some other fun stuff other than predictions. Not that we don't have fun, because it is still a pay-per-view after all, and it is what we enjoy. So here we are again to sit down and discuss it. Andrew Wolf Woltman is back to defend his Under the Middle Rope Championship. RJ Stacey, Pete Atkinson, they're all back as well to defend. And of course, it has that precious, greatest wrestling match ever. I'm excited for it, so let's not waste any more time and get right to it. So sit back, relax, and enjoy our Backlash predictions. Okay, everybody, welcome to the discussion part of the podcast. We have Wolf to my right, who burped, I think. RJ Stacey back at the bottom. Pete Atkinson to the bottom right. Wolf, what the heck was that?
It's a good sandwich.
I've never doubted it.
Get it out.
I've never doubted it. All right, so yes, welcome to the discussion. It is our Backlash predictions, as I said in the introduction. It's a pay-per-view that looks interesting, has already been shrouded with a lot of interest or controversy, depending on the way you look at it, because of the main event or what we assume is the main event. As always, the Under the Middle Rope Championship is on the line, which of course Wolf currently holds, and I know he would like to retain it, be the first person to successfully retain it, because so far nobody has.
I beat 4 people to earn it, by the way. I've beaten more people than anyone else has. Just putting that out there.
And we're very proud of you for that. And of course, on behalf of Pete and RJ, we hope that doesn't happen again. At the time being, 7 matches are on the card. And of course, as always, if any main card matches are added on after the fact, we will add them on and we'll predict them off screen. And then we will update you with what we picked for next week's Fallout. Gentlemen, shall we get right to it? Because this is going to be a doozy. Let's do it. Asuka versus Nia Jax, the Raw Women's Championship. Asuka, the current champion, after she was somewhat awarded, the Raw Women's title after Becky announced her maternity leave the night after Money in the Bank. Nia Jax becoming the number 1 contender after defeating Charlotte and Natalya in a triple threat. And of course, everybody knows that Nia has been consistently in hot water with her horrible and excessive misuse of talent, Kairi Sane, in the ring. And well, we'll see what happens against Asuka this time around. I'm going to start off because apparently there is a controversy that anything that Pete says, I copy. So we're going to see how this pans out as the show goes on today. I'm going to start off with Asuka. Why end the title? And with the heat that Nia Jax is getting, it is not good heat if you want to put the title on somebody who gets attention for the wrong reasons. And again, a lot of people are calling for Nia's firing. I know even apparently an anonymous WWE employee said they want her fired. Can't blame them. I don't know what's going to happen, but for now, safe PR-wise, and safe storyline-wise, I'm going to go with Asuka. And let's go over to Wolf.
I mean, I'm not going to bring backstage stuff into it because that's neither here nor there to me. I mean, I'm not a fan of Nia Jax, and obviously she has her flaws. I still think it's going to be Asuka because, again, she just won the title. There's no real reason to take it off of her. She's doing great work. She's one of the most consistently entertaining parts of the show. So, I don't know. I feel like she's destined for a bigger feud. Hopefully not with Charlotte because, well, yeah. Hopefully with Shayna Baszler. I'd love to see that feud, but I just don't see the title coming off of Asuka.
Of course, at the time of this recording, because we taped Tuesdays last night on Raw, or this past Monday on Raw, if you want to be specific, we did see Charlotte versus Asuka for the 85,000th time. So could it lead to something again? I don't know. Do I hope so? Obviously not. I'm going to presume that that's the same vibe in the room. RJ.
Yeah, but you know it's coming though. Like we've seen it 85 times. Like get ready to see it in 86. Like Asuka, what was that win on, or was the match even really definitive last night? Like wasn't it kind of like a botched pin at the end? Like I have a feeling that they're sort of going to kind of try and work that in. Plus, with Nia getting involved, like Asuka's going to get her win over Charlotte, I think, at some point because she keeps losing to Charlotte. So I do think that this is going to turn into an Asuka. If Charlotte gets the next shot, I'm okay with it as long as Asuka gets a definitive retain because she actually kind of needs that because every time they face Charlotte, she faces Charlotte, she loses. So I think that I'm already moving ahead of the fact that Asuka is going to beat Nia Jax because there's no reason that Nia is going to win this match, nor should she. So yeah, easy Asuka.
Pete?
I think all things going well, this could be the greatest women's wrestling match ever. The build to this match has been utter trash. It's been awful. Nia Jax coming out and going, "Oh, Asuka's got no chance against me." She's got like in singles matches a 10-0 record against Nia Jax. It's ridiculous. And then you got Charlotte just poking her head in as she always does, saying, "Asuka, you can't beat me." She beat you like 6 months ago on Raw, like in a singles match. Like, why are we just ignoring these facts and just skirting over it? And then Nia Jax Twitter game where she's criticizing Ronda Rousey for being unsafe in the ring at the perfect timing when she's killing Kairi Sane. So, no, Nia Jax is somehow a worse version of Tamina, which is saying something. So yeah, Asuka's keeping that belt. They're going to build to another Asuka versus Charlotte match, and then we'll see where it goes from there. But yeah, it's Asuka.
Yeah, and of course for the what is that noise?
Oh man, that might be me.
What are you playing Sims or something over there?
No, I just had the TV on like way in the background. That's my bad.
It's all good.
Has nobody brought it up yet? Because I was like totally zoned out and didn't even see it.
No, I know because I was just hearing the Pete's answers and I'm like,
I mean, those I Love Lucy reruns can't really wait, you know.
they're great.
I was
They're
trying to
great.
work out if it was me.
I'm not gonna
watching
lie. Sorry, go on, RJ.
watching the top 100 plays of the decade for like the 97th time in quarantine.
They're not going to change.
Oh, I mean, maybe they will.
See, I thought it was Wolf because Wolf's already had a couple of instances in the last couple of weeks where his window's open and then you hear noise outside and whatnot. And let's move on, shall we?
How dare you? I say as a truck goes by very loudly.
Obviously, to Pete's point, it's ridiculous how unsafe Nia is. I can't emphasize enough. I mean, to swing somebody towards the steel steps is fine. To swing them head first and make sure the head, like your temple of the head, makes contact with the steps, that's not like a light piece of material as everybody keeps assuming to think it is. And of course, in the world of wrestling where everything's fake, the steps are just soft as hell. No, that severely hurts. And I don't know. I don't know what to do. I mean, I was in
weigh
WWE, but
800 pounds each, those steps.
yes.
I'm pretty sure that's what they tell us.
Yes, and everybody, including Kyrie, can lift 800 pounds. Let's move on to the next match on the card from SmackDown. Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus. A very, very questionable storyline. Extremely questionable with the Jeff Hardy arrests. And, of course, given what's happening in the world, especially in America, in the last 3 weeks or so, the timing of this storyline is just not, especially with the arrests, it's just not good. We know WWE tends to be tone deaf when it comes to these kind of things. It's just like even before we get onto the match prediction, it's just a bad call just to have like an arrest in the week in the midst of all the riots, in the midst of all the protests that are going on for racial equality. And yikes, that's all I can say. Now jumping ahead to the match, I'm gonna pick Hardy just to pick Hardy because I don't know. This is just it's a match with a really bad setup, using real life storylines, and Sheamus is just there, I guess. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Hardy. Nothing more to it. Let's go to Pete.
I think if all things go well, this could be the greatest wrestling storyline.
Oh my god! Leave the jokes to me.
It's good to get a mix-up, but damn, Pete.
The build to this match, like you said, is questionable. I don't mind that at least they're trying to do things a bit differently and make a storyline, but let's be honest, it maybe wasn't the right time to do that. But I'm actually going to go with Sheamus on this one because I think this feud is ending at Backlash. I think Sheamus is going to pick up some heelish style win at Backlash, and then they're going to have another match at Extreme Rules with some kind of stipulation, and that's where Jeff Hardy's going to get his redemption. But I think this storyline is going to drag on a little bit longer. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Sheamus on this one.
And for the first time since WrestleMania, Pete and I officially have different predictions. Hooray! Wolf.
I'm just going to say that the story sucks. It's stupid. Yeah. It was mainly done to get Elias off of television because there's some sort of real life injury there. Why not just use Baron Corbin if you're going to shove him down our throats anyway? But I think I'm more obviously it's in bad taste. I think one of the things that we aren't considering is this isn't the first time we've done this story with Jeff Hardy. So can you at least try a little differently? We did this with CM Punk. We did this with Samoa Joe. Everyone knows that Jeff Hardy has problems. We're not doing him any favors by continuing to bring it up. So it's just really stupid, and the feud didn't need this. I'm going to say Jeff Hardy because I'd really like a babyface win out of this if we're intent on doing something like this.
Mr. Stacey.
Yeah, I'm pretty much with what Wolf said there. I mean, if you're gonna go through this story, I feel like it's got to come out with Jeff Hardy getting his redemption and getting the big win at the end. So it could go to another match with a stipulation, like Pete said, but I do think that they are gonna give Jeff Hardy the win here. Sheamus keeps denying that he did it, right? That's what this whole thing is. Sheamus keeps denying that he did it, or has it been confirmed that Sheamus is the one that framed Jeff? Is that, or because I could see it happening that Sheamus keeps putting it off, and then Jeff wins, and then the person who actually framed him, say Baron Corbin, comes out and attacks him afterwards. I think that is a possibility as well, because Sheamus keeps denying that he wasn't the one that was actually involved with it. But I do think Jeff is getting a win no matter what way comes out of this.
If I can jump in, Jeff Hardy said he was attacked by someone with a beard and red hair. Maybe I don't know. Maybe we're leading to Sami Zayn coming back. I don't even know.
Possibly.
Oh yeah.
Potentially. Oh, again, Eric Rowan making his big return again.
Damn it, there goes my joke.
Eric Rowan doesn't have
it. Damn.
I still want him to show up as the member of the Dark Order, but that's neither here nor there.
So right now we finally have our first difference, and if this is what gives Pete the title back, it's going to be a little sad. It's going to be a little sad. The Women's Tag Team Championship, Bayley and Sasha Banks, who are now the champions, taking on former champions Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, and the Iconics. The Iconics returned the night after Money in the Bank on Monday Night Raw. Big ovation on the internet, not in person. And then just recently on SmackDown, out of nowhere, Bayley and Sasha Banks winning the SmackDown. It's a SmackDown. The Women's Tag Team Championship came out of left field, and now Bayley goes to Bayley 2 belts. Sasha is now once again a champion. It's random, in my opinion, to see the titles on them. I'm not going to start this time. Let's go over to RJ.
I thought it was kind of random too. When I saw it main event at SmackDown the other night, I'm like, oh, maybe they do switch the titles here just to go maybe do something here. But it kind of came out of nowhere. But they really seem to be pushing Bayley right now. I mean, Bayley's got 2 belts. She's been a big contributor to the pandemic SmackDowns. I think she's done a really good job here as a heel. And I think she's starting to come into her own. I wasn't really that big on her when she was a face after she was in NXT. So I think she's done a good job with her heel turn here. And obviously Sasha is a main catalyst to that as well. So I think that them winning the titles, and then especially how they won them, where Bayley tried to steal the win herself and then Sasha had to bail her out, could lead to some more things happening at Backlash. So I think that they actually are going to move these belts from Sasha and Bayley onto the Iconics by result of Sasha and Bayley kind of getting into some more tension to lead to their upcoming feud. So give me the Iconics, boys.
Wolf.
That kind of threw me for a loop. Well, it's a triple threat, so obviously they don't have to get pinned, so that kind of opens it up a little bit more. Bliss and Cross aren't winning them. I don't necessarily think they need them. I don't see them winning them back. I could honestly see it going either way between Boston Hug Connection and the Iconics. It depends on how soon they're willing to start the Sasha and Bayley feud, and if they're going to save that for SummerSlam, or whatever the July pay-per-view is. I'm assuming
It's Extreme Rules.
Stomping Balls of Fire or something. I don't know.
July is Extreme Rules.
Stomping Balls of Fire.
I don't know. Stomping Balls of Fire, whatever. I don't know. Well, obviously you don't rush into that feud. I'm going to say that Sasha and Bayley retain. I don't know if they're ready to drop it just yet, and it would kind of suck if Sasha never successfully defends a single title in WWE. I don't really count the Nia and Tamina defense, but yeah, I'm going to say Sasha and Bayley retain.
Mr. Atkinson.
Well, all things going well, this could be the greatest tag team match ever.
Oh my god!
Bayley at the moment, or Bayley Door Straps, as she wants to call herself, I think has been one of the best things on WWE TV. And I'm really intrigued by this storyline. I'm really intrigued by the Bayley and Sasha angle. And I'm very intrigued by the matches that they're having, where, especially like the one where they won the belts, where Bayley basically tried to put in the bank statement, almost cost the match, and then Sasha eventually wins it for them. And I think they're going to continue down that line. I think Bayley's going to nearly lose the belts, and Sasha's going to retain it for the team, and Bayley's going to try and keep taking all the credit. Until they eventually lose the straps at Extreme Rules, Bayley blames Sasha, Sasha turns face, they get in a feud together, and they build that to SummerSlam. So I think they're retaining the belts for now. After they've just won it, I think they're going to build it a little bit longer. That tension's going to keep rising, where they tease being friends for as long as possible, and then I think the split's coming at Extreme Rules, and then the match is coming at SummerSlam. But yeah, I'm really into this feud, and I don't know what to make of the match though itself, the triple threat. But
I'm gonna go Iconics. I'm gonna side with RJ here. I mean, you know, they're back. Everybody's wanting them back. They are, in my opinion, they're definitely a somehow a weird definition of women's tag team champions. And I don't know. I just feel like they want to put them back on that pedestal. You know, I feel like it's gonna be over with the crowd, and I can see where RJ says that maybe this could be this is where the dissension slowly starts. It's got to start somewhere, because like you got Extreme Rules and then you got SummerSlam. I don't know how long they want the story. It could be Extreme Rules, but I wouldn't be opposed to it starting this Sunday. So I'm gonna go Iconics. Nothing more to that. Apollo Crews and Andrade, the United States Championship. Apollo Crews defeating Andrade on an episode of Raw, and it's Apollo's first WWE title ever, which I think is overdue. I feel like it's overdue. This guy is a trooper. This guy's a worker, and it's about time that he has some gold around him. So good for him. I'm gonna start off by saying Apollo should be a quick defense. I love Andrade. Don't get me wrong, but to me, it just screams Apollo. Wouldn't make sense for Apollo to lose it right away. So that's just where I'm going. Wolf?
Well, I think Pete's going to give us the greatest response of all time.
I beat him to it. Oh, it's amazing.
Leave the jokes to me.
See the cookie crumble. Sorry.
Anyway, Apollo, because, you know, it's too soon to take it off of him. He's worked too hard to get it. And frankly, you know, Andrade had this belt since December, and they did absolutely nothing with it. I don't see why they would just give it right back. So, Apollo.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, you want
a long time.
I was supposed to be at that Madison Square Garden show, but I just ended up not going. And then, title change! God damn it!
I don't know what your reason was. I hope it was a good reason, but you just don't miss out on house shows. Even though that's what RJ and I do all the time in Toronto, but just don't ever do that, man. As he eats his chips. Pete?
At MSG too.
I know, MSG of all places, right? Pete?
Well, considering Apollo Crews in this match, if it goes well, this could be the most charismatic match of all time.
Even when you take the rug from underneath him.
So, of course. The biggest travesty in this whole thing is that they've changed Apollo Crews' theme music.
Yes.
Because he low-key had one of the best theme songs in WWE, and they've changed it. And I was trying to listen to it as it came out, but it sounded so generic. It was hard to actually tell what it was, but it just sounded so generic, and he had a great theme song. But they've just put the belt on him. They've basically instigated a rematch clause of extra steps to get to this match, and I think I'm just going to go with Apollo Crews to retain. They've just put the belt on him. It seems a weird one to flip straight back. So yeah, I'll go with Apollo Crews. And like, I just want to say, you've got Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles for the IC belt happening 2 days earlier. Why is this the match on pay-per-view, and why is that one the match on regular TV? It just makes no sense to me.
Fox must want that match, I guess. I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of. Or they wanted to keep that match off because I don't know why. I don't know why you're keeping that match off.
Yeah, I mean, just before we started recording, the one thing we brought up was like, unless something happens on SmackDown, and then it just gets carried over to the main card, or to the main card of Backlash. I don't know. It's your guesses. We were all under the impression that AJ Daniel Bryan was going to be on at Backlash. It makes sense for it to go on Backlash. Why wouldn't it be on Backlash? So.
Oh, it's going to be on Backlash. They're going to have a clean finish on SmackDown with no Michigas. And then on Saturday on Twitter, they'll announce that, AJ Styles gets a chance at the Intercontinental Championship from Daniel Bryan or whatever.
Honestly, I hope that's the case. I really do. Because that's like one reason to tune into this pay-per-view, as if the other reasons were not available. RJ, your pick?
I think it's got to be Apollo. Kind of with you guys here. I like this. They haven't really repackaged Apollo. Like, it's still the same look, different music, but he's a little more aggressive. He's shown a little bit more in his promos. He's shown a little bit more, confidence. So he's been better than that, and he's been putting it on in the ring during the pandemic as well. So well-deserved U.S. title run. Not going to end it now. If you haven't seen the triple threat from Raw last night, it's really good. So if you guys haven't watched that match yet, like, you should go watch it. It's really good. Like, all three of those guys really go. Like, I love Angel Garza. Like, I wanted him to win. I love Angel Garza, but I think that match might start to turn him face, or maybe Andrade face, probably Garza, but we'll see what happens there. And then obviously Owens did his part as well. But yeah, Andrade, it's like the rematch clause without giving him the rematch clause. It's just the extra steps, like Pete said. So Apollo, clean, definitively, until he moves on.
Well, somehow we are already more than halfway on the card, because we have now reached the biggest championships that WWE has to offer. And we're going to start off with the Universal title match. Braun Strowman versus Miz and Morrison. It is a 2-on-1 handicap match. This is somewhat of a weird build-up. Miz and Morrison laughed at Strowman for teaming up with Otis I believe it was a 6-man tag just a couple weeks ago. Morrison laid out the challenge. Strowman awarded it. Here we are now, and of course, this is not the first time we're seeing a 2-on-1 handicap match for a world title. If for those that went to the 2018 Royal Rumble, they saw it there with AJ Styles taking on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. That was a fun, entertaining match to watch in person. And I'm gonna start us off because I feel like this is where my picks are just really solidified when I say Braun Strowman. Why on earth would Miz and Morrison grab that? It was exactly my thoughts going into the Royal Rumble when I went to Philadelphia with RJ. Like, do you really see AJ Styles losing to either Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn? It's the same thing that I'm saying now. Do you really see Strowman losing to Miz or Morrison, especially Miz and Morrison? Like, sure, if it was Kevin Owens and Sami again, sure. Not this time around. No, I'm going Strowman to be safe. Wolf, you had your hand up.
Okay, so here's why Miz and Morrison are going to win. No. Well, honestly, when does Miz and Mrs. come back?
Who cares?
No. Hear me out.
Okay, let's hear him out before we laugh at him. Let's hear him out.
I'll save you the time right now. My pick is going to be Strowman because, I have a title to defend here. But the only way I could see Miz and Morrison winning is if Miz and Mrs. was coming back like in a couple weeks and, watch this show featuring our Universal Champion. Like, I don't know.
They do stuff like that for sure.
Pete, RJ, you can go ahead and laugh at him as we move down the.
Yeah, I like kind of agree.
Okay, you know what? I'm going with Strowman, but if Miz and Morrison do win somehow, and that's one of the selling points of the new season, then I want a statue.
Can you?
Anyway,
why don't you pick them, you coward? Make the pick.
I have the title to retain, and I'm not.
The pick. Make the pick.
Give Miz and Morrison win.
No,
coward.
It's one of the dumbest feuds I've ever seen, and it involves all of the things that were left alone in the Nickelodeon prop room in 1996. So I'm just gonna say Strowman. but secretly kind of hope Miz and Morrison win just so I can laugh at you guys next week. I'm gonna go
Coward.
get some chips.
Roy Jordan, coward. RJ,
You calling me coward?
no, not you. I know my right.
Yeah, coward.
I am far from a coward because, boys, I am taking The Miz and John Morrison
Are you serious?
just to be different.
Are you serious? Are you 1,000% serious?
Okay,
So-
Wolf's a coward. RJ's an idiot.
So here's the thing.
What does that make you?
Here's the thing. When was the last time Braun Strowman lost his title? Handicap match.
Ow.
So this is the way.
For the IC title, yeah.
He lost it to Sammy. So here's what I'm thinking. This is just how they get belts off Strowman. You tag team up on him. You somehow squeeze some sort of win in there, and then you move Strowman on to something else. I'm like half kidding because Strowman probably is gonna retain because I still think they're gonna do something with Bray in the future, but that could not happen for the title. I think that there is a at least mediocre chance that the Miz and Morrison squeeze this one out. But then it comes down to which one of them is going to be the champ. Is it going to be the Miz or is it going to be John Morrison? And that's where I'm confused. Like I know they're going to win this. No, I think if they win, it'll probably be the Miz because I don't really know if they're. I feel like they see Miz as the bigger star of the two, even though Morrison just came back. But I'm going to go with the Miz and John Morrison because they put him in this handicap match just because this is how they get the belts off Braun. I think that this is sort of possible.
So that's your official pick, Miz and
Oh
Morrison.
yeah, no, I'm going Miz and Morrison.
Well, it is your official pick.
Okay,
Wolf.
I'm changing my pick too. I'm going for it. Yeah, I'm doing it. Change my pick.
You're gonna go for it.
I'm doing it. Yeah.
You're switching it up.
I'm switching it.
Jose, this is the easiest predictions win ever.
I think that there is at least a little bit of merit to that. Like, they love the Miz. Like, Miz is the star of the WWE. I think that he is ready for a title match again. He isn't in the Intercontinental title scene right now. He hasn't been WWE champion in a long time. Braun was a replacement champion to begin with. Maybe they just didn't want to flip it right onto Bray right away. It's very possible that the Miz comes out of this as the champion, especially because it's a handicap match. This is how Braun loses his belts.
Look,
RJ, I've been moving you a beer.
Look, I'll say this. I'll say this. I mean, Pete says this is the easiest predictions like that for him and I. What makes me laugh is that the last time like you guys laughed at a pick, I want to say was when I picked Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. I got a big laugh. Everybody had a
two on that one as well. Yeah.
Sorry?
I think didn't Nick pick Sami Zayn as well?
We forget about Nick, but like the point is like the point is like I made some questionable picks at WrestleMania, and then what ended up happening was that I became the inaugural podcast champion. So could this be a thing? Maybe I think I know it's hilarious, but I'm also kind of done in laughing at picks because we've seen weirder things in this company. So.
Remember when you laughed at everyone when you said no one would pick the mystery opponent at Double or Nothing, and then everyone picked him, including you?
I rest my case. Pete, I'm assuming your pick is going to be Strowman then, from just judging by your reaction.
Win or lose, this could be the greatest handicap match ever.
This is one of the best show ever.
Let's. Like, the only way I can see RJ and Wolf picking up a point here is if the Fiend attacks Braun Strowman and they win by disqualification.
And,
that is the only possible way I can see Miz and Morrison winning this match is by disqualification.
No, let's give Miz the belt.
Let's be honest, there's more chance of me farting out a stick of gold than there is of John Morrison winning the Universal title.
You've obviously never seen the Disney movie $1 Million Duck.
Well, come next Tuesday, sir.
Can we also just talk, like, the literal build to this match has been an episode of Nickelodeon, like, Pranked.
That's kind of like Braun, though. Like, Braun's kind of like a big jokester.
Like, Miz and Morrison a bucket and climb and missed him. And they hit Charlie. Like, poor Charlie.
That was the best. Wait, hang on.
And they also, then you have Braun Strowman flip over a van. And they didn't even edit out the basically sound of the lever in the background pulling the van over.
What?
Oh, I got that too, actually.
RJ, you really?
I think so, yeah. Well, at Universal.
Oh, God.
Is that where you got
Okay,
that?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Pete. I'm sorry.
Let's get back. Let's get back.
This is a fun show.
This is
today.
my safest pick on the show is picking Braun Strowman.
Braun Strowman. Okay.
Because of course he's winning. Of course he's keeping the Universal title. And they're not throwing this Universal title that they took off. The last champions have been like Brock Lesnar, like The Fiend, Seth Rollins, Goldberg. They're not going to suddenly throw it on the Miz and Morrison.
Miz.
It's just not happening. Like I said, the only way you're winning a point here is if it's a disqualification. And The Fiend, although I think he might do a little tease, I don't think he's attacking him. And I don't think they're costing the match because they're not having Braun Strowman lose to the Miz and Morrison.
I eat a lot of food on this podcast. You're gonna eat your words.
Look, if you win,
man.
I'm not even showing up next week. I'm just jumping out that window.
Jump out your window.
Well, I thought this was going to be one of the most basic predictions, and turns out this is the most heated debate, if you want to call it heated. Oh God, I don't even know what to say. I'm just going to move on.
Wolf wanted to keep his belt.
I'm just happy that Wolf just proved that he's not a coward. That's all. You know, he's a good dude for that.
I did.
The coward have this. Ha!
Of course, I mean, like, yeah, you know, RJ, Wolf is not a coward. No, he's pathetic. Let's jump over to the WWE Championship match. Drew McIntyre taking on Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley teamed up with MVP, much to the satisfaction of Lana, who screamed and screamed and screamed way into the night. And rumor has it she is still screaming today that Bobby Lashley teamed up with MVP. Can't confirm. Drew called out Bobby Lashley, saying that Bobby Lashley just rides the coattails of MVP. And of course, the match was made official shortly thereafter. I know some people are saying that this is potentially the better opponent for Bobby Lashley, for Drew McIntyre. I'm still iffy that it's Bobby, but of course I could be proven wrong. Once again, this is another safe pick of mine. It's, in my opinion, is Drew. I don't see Drew losing this anytime soon. I don't see him losing momentum, or the scare of potentially losing momentum until SummerSlam. Wolf, I'm going to save you for last with that face that you're making. RJ.
Yeah, so on that first thing you said there, I think Lashley's a replacement for Jinder Mahal. I think Mahal was supposed to be the challenger here, but he's hurt again, unfortunately.
Which does suck. I'll kind of say
which does suck because, you know, like Wolf was saying like episodes ago, like Mahal is getting a chance, and like he's coming out former WWE champion Jinder Mahal. Like they were making a point that Jinder Mahal was a champion, so I think that was going to happen. And I think that Bobby's a little bit of a replacement here. But, you know, I haven't minded Bobby since MVP's paired with him. You know, he's got the long tights on now. He looks built, like he looks jacked. He's always looked jacked, but he looks big. Like he looks strong. He looks intimidating. Not in love with the full Nelson. I didn't hate it when Chris Masters did it a long time ago, but nobody's really used a full Nelson since then, have they? I'm not in love with it. But I know I can see that it looks, you know, it shows off his strength, and I can see it's a pretty dominant submission. So, you know, I'm not in love with it myself, but, you know, yeah, this is going to be Drew again. I think that he's going to get a definitive win here, and the face is going to win on Raw, and those darn heels are going to win on SmackDown.
Just to point out, this is Bobby Lashley's first world title opportunity. I could be horribly wrong, but since 2000,
they've been saying it. They've been saying it's been 13 years on
since
like,
07.
Point of that, yeah.
His first WWE world title opportunity.
Yeah.
Right, and I don't know if we want to count I don't know if that's the ECW title they're talking about.
I think it does.
From 07. Is it that far?
Lashley was gone for a while.
Well, I know he was gone for a while, but I also can't remember if he had a WWE title or world heavyweight title opportunity aside from the ECW title.
I think against Cena, maybe.
Yeah, I think if you do a Triple H once too, maybe.
Yeah, I would hope so, because if they're counting the ECW world title, then that's just sad, because that was a really, really bad run. Pete?
Well, all things going well, this could be the greatest rehashed Impact match ever.
I like that he didn't just go for the easy championship.
No, I know.
He went for Impact. Like
yeah.
it.
Like with RJ's point there with the full Nelson, like at least Chris Masters, it was the only move he could actually use.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't do anything else in the ring. Probably Lashley can at least do a few bits and pieces.
This is true.
But like talking about Drew, like Drew has been pretty historic. He's like the first ever British champion. He's come back. He's done all this stuff. The first member of 3MB who deservedly won the title.
Says
more than anything, He has created history because he is the first man ever to make me mildly interested in a Bobby Lashley match. And that is
That's
true.
what I'm saying. Like,
Fair.
why?
He's not losing this belt at this point. He's not dropping it to Lashley. If he's losing the belt, I think they're either going to wait for a crowd so that he'll get to heat, or they're going to wait till a bigger show. So maybe SummerSlam, maybe around that point. But you can even see the finish in your head. It's basically going to be, he's in like I'm going to call it the master lock just because F it. But he's going to be stuck in the master lock. He's going to break out. He's going to hit the rope. He's going to rebound. He's going to hit a claymore, and he's going to pick up the pin. Like, it's just basically built that way. And I could even see them doing something stupid, having Lana cost Lashley the match or something horrible. But whatever, this match is happening. I'm mildly intrigued by it. They had some good matches in Impact, so I know the two of them can work together. So hopefully they do something all right here.
Now, just to point out, if Pete's ending to the match comes true, that prediction, he will get a statue. Nobody else is going to get a statue for any other predictions made on this show. So, Pete, congratulations to you. I hope you get a statue, Mr. Woltman.
I don't have to be here, you know.
Yeah,
I was going to be an archaeologist.
So what
Oh,
happened?
no.
The man says I don't have to be here. Messages me every week. Hey, what are we doing this week? Hey, what's the topic this week? What's gonna happen this week? Hey, so what can I eat this week? Hey, are you okay with chips? Hey, can I have roast beef on the show? How about a drink? Shut up. Make your pick.
Can I order a pizza?
Oh, I would love a pizza. Oh, love a pizza.
Don't give me ideas for next week. But anyway, it's not going to be Lashley. I know Jose probably thought I was going to go for Lashley just to be different. And
Well, for those that are not watching on YouTube, the fact that he had his fingers and his hands up close to his mouth with a little smile went, yeah, you would think that this man had something interesting to say, which is why I picked him last, and now I regret it.
I always have something interesting to say. But
Sure.
shut up.
Yeah.
So McIntyre is going to retain because I just don't see them cutting short this title reign. He needs to at least have one show in front of crowds as a champion, and it depends on how much longer it is until fans come, but that's going to happen. Lashley's going to put on a great match because these two have some chemistry. We've seen it before. And it's going to be a great show up until Lana gets involved inevitably, starts arguing with MVP, distracts Lashley, and then Claymore. So, yeah, McIntyre's going to retain.
Now, I want to quickly touch up on that before we move on, because obviously, it's a big match that we're predicting next. If I'm not mistaken, I think Florida is very, very close to reopening up to fans. I feel like we could be seeing it sooner than later. Obviously, it would be Florida. No other state is as crazy as Florida, I think, in terms of reopening. So we'll see what happens, but I feel like that's something we need to keep our eyes out for the next maybe month or two. Because I think I remember hearing that sporting events can open up again in Florida. So we'll see. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. And finally, it is the big match that everybody's talking about. The match that will blow everything out of the water. Blow matches such as Okada Omega, Taker, Shawn, Bret Austin,
Flair Steamboat.
Yes, Savage Steamboat. Thank you. So Hogan Rock, so many matches will not surmount to Edge and Randy Orton. TLC 2, Edge and Randy Orton in the greatest match ever. This is a match that has a lot of people laughing at. It's a match that has had an interesting build for the most part. I've even seen on Twitter some people are actually siding with Randy Orton, which is kind of funny. I'm torn. This is the one match that leading up to this, I'm still wondering which way I'm gonna go. I don't know. So
you're gonna copy my pick.
There's a strong chance. Yes.
He's gonna defer.
It's the mystery opponent.
No. I'm gonna defer. The mystery opponent.
You go for the 60-minute time limit draw.
Apparently, this one's prepackaged, so that one is possible. It could go to 60-minute draw. Apparently, they prepackaged this one. That's what I read. Yeah.
Well, they filmed it already. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna say Edge. I'm gonna stick with my local homeboy, my local idol, because I think they want to prove that yes, he still got it in the ring when there's no gimmicks. Wolf and I spoke about this last week, and if you haven't heard it, go check it out. The Patron of the Month episode that Pete suggested. But I don't know. I they could extend this, which is where I look like an idiot here. But I'm gonna pick Edge because I think they just want to prove another point with this guy, as they should. But good Lord, help me if we see an Extreme Rules match next month. RJ.
Yeah, so I'm thinking and hoping that no matter who wins this match is the last one between the two of them. I mean, Edge is only gonna have so many matches, right? Like we can't have 3 Randy Orton matches. Like, come on now. So
8.
as much as these guys, I think that they can put on a pretty solid match together, I do hope that this is the last one. It is probably going to be the greatest wrestling match ever, as we all know. It could end right away by Randy Orton like kicking him right in the balls and being like, well, there's your greatest wrestling match ever. And then Randy Orton ruins the wrestling match, and then that's it. That's the only way that they can, get past the tagline. I'm thinking, I read something, and I'm thinking that maybe that they were supposed to have like a Saudi show, and they were going to have like the greatest match ever. Like they were going to have like the greatest Royal Rumble or like the greatest match ever. And then they decided that they're just going to roll with it and just roll with it.
I can
totally see that.
Everything makes sense now.
Oh, I don't like that. Oh, it does make sense.
That
makes
totally
so much sense.
Because the greatest Royal Rumble.
That's why did none of us think of that? Oh my god! It's like right there. Why didn't we just
right in front of our faces? And like even
God.
the graph.
I'm gonna stare out the window.
Like what they would have for like a Saudi Arabia show. Anyway, so
all in favor for me to kick RJ off the podcast now?
Face is
and
like, oh my god.
No, leave him.
In this pandemic, forgot Saudi Arabia existed. For that,
we've caught a revelation here, boys. Is this really bounds for kicking me off? This revelation.
RJ, make your pick.
I actually think Randy's gonna win this one.
Randy.
I think that they're gonna go with like Edge, that like Ridley old like veteran. He won in that last man standing match, but he's still got to get back into that like technical wrestling thing where Randy Orton's been the technical wrestler for all these years, and Randy's gonna get one over on him. I think that Orton's gonna win this one, but I think it's gonna end the feud regardless.
Wolf.
Ladies and gents, this is the moment you've waited for.
All right, Pete, make your pick.
No, God damn it. No, okay, look.
This is the greatest show.
It is. RJ just kind of blew my mind there, and I'm a little upset about that.
Yeah.
But
he's a good egg. He's a good egg.
And I did a lot of thoughts on this last week. I'll say this. Either it needs to be a really, really good match or a really, really funny joke. And frankly, if Edge and Orton just come out and they do some sort of Terrence and Phillip bit from South Park, I'd think that's pretty funny. Like, say Orton, what's inside my ass? No. I'm gonna go with Orton.
Oh, okay.
I think it's better, like, if Orton wins. This has to end the feud because I cannot sit through more of this. But I think it's a better story if Orton wins after Edge, like, really does go the distance with him, but just can't eke it out. And it shows, like, he still got it, but he still has, somewhere to go. So I just feel like there's more story to tell, like, Edge trying to prove himself against other people. Like, okay, well, maybe I just can't beat Orton. Maybe I can try against Rollins or something like that.
Yeah.
It's a better story if Edge is chasing a victory in a regular wrestling match for me, at least in my opinion.
Pete, I'm going to assume you ran out of jokes after you said the greatest women's match, the greatest.
I don't have his platform.
So, Pete?
Look, if this goes all to plan, this has got no chance in hell of being the greatest match ever. 0.
Cut to next week.
Just look back. Can anyone name in the last 15 years? Can you name a classic Randy Orton singles match with no gimmicks?
Taker Orton WrestleMania 21.
That wasn't even that great. Like compare it with Taker Mania.
Orton Christian at SummerSlam 2011.
Sorry, what?
Orton versus Christian.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you. It wasn't, but it still wasn't great. It was like good. He's had some good matches. He had a good one against John Cena as well. Obviously, if you go back earlier than that, you've obviously got his ones against He Who Must Not Be Named.
He had a really good one with Daniel Bryan, but that was also an Extreme Rules match too, though, on Raw. So yeah.
Like when he's had some gimmicks matches and stuff, like it's once we've seen, like he had a really good I Quit match with John Cena, if I remember correctly. But he had obviously a triple threat at WrestleMania 30, was a fantastic match, but it was a
brilliant.
triple threat.
Yeah.
But at no point has Randy Orton shown to me that he can put on a 5-star classic wrestling match where you're just going to blow you out of the water, and it's just not going to happen now either. Like. As Wolf said, there are some great ways to do this. I would love it if he came out, just botched 2 moves and did a like funky roll up where he accidentally kicked out at 2, and they just end the match on that. Like, or they come out and literally rehash the 70-minute match from Okada and Omega spot for spot.
Oh my God! Give me Randy Orton doing a one-winged angel, please.
Yeah.
That would be kind of funny.
That would be hilarious.
Well, I kind of feel like Randy Orton would have to be Okada hitting the drop kicks, but
yeah,
still. Like they might try. There might be a good match. I kind of feel like they've peppered the undercard with loads of underwhelming matches to maybe make this one look a bit better than it is in comparison.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
Again, that could be why they kept the Styles match off the card.
I am worried it's not going to end here. I think it might go to Extreme Rules. I think Edge signed up for, was it 5 matches per year?
I thought it was 3, but it could be 5.
I think it was 5.
All I remember is that it's
26 appearances or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. All I remember is like it was a 3-year contract with about 26 appearances in the midst of all of it. So we already used
maybe not.
Which honestly, in this day and age, that's a lot of appearances. Like I will take that. Like we're not seeing anybody right now. So
I think there might be a third deciding match of Randy Orton, and maybe it's it's going to be a 60-minute Iron Man match.
I'd rather see rated RKO.
I think they are going
I'd rather watch The Greatest Showman.
Redemption. All right. Yeah, I think they are going to do Edge's kind of like build up to redemption and him not being able to eke out the singles win at the moment and start to doubt himself, start to doubt whether he still has it. So I think Randy Orton is going to win this in probably a mediocre 3-star match.
Okay, but hang on. What if Randy Orton has just been phoning it in for the last 18 years just so he could pull it out and go Super Saiyan just once?
He is the greatest troll ever.
That would be amazing.
If all those 20-minute matches of 15 minutes of it spent in a headlock were just to troll everyone after all this time, and he comes out with 630 off the top rope.
Like if you've ever seen the movie The Prestige, like you have to devote your life to the trick.
The gimmick,
yeah.
Then fantastic, but I do hope it's the greatest match ever because then we're going to be treated to the greatest match ever.
That'd be awesome.
Well, that would be amazing, but it's not going to happen.
Well, looking at the card, looking at the predictions now, once again, I want to say there is no chance for a tiebreaker, but maybe there is. But, for example, if we were to pit myself and Pete, we have 3 matches that are completely different. So there goes that tiebreaker. In terms of if I was to pit myself and RJ, there won't be a chance for a tiebreaker. If I were to pit myself against myself and Wolf, there won't be a chance for a tiebreaker. No,
unless you're both wrong in a match.
Yeah,
unless we're exactly. Unless we're both wrong.
But if you don't have a tiebreaker, the second
if Bliss and Cross won the women's tag title match,
exactly, it would throw everything out. If RJ and Pete were to go off, that won't need a tiebreaker because you already have 2 differences. Again, depending on.
I think it's technically possible for everybody to tie.
Yeah, technically.
It's unlikely, but it's technically
if Miz wins and the Iconics lose, then me and Pete will tie, or vice versa, obviously.
Right, but then you also have the difference between you two of Hardy and Sheamus.
True. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, but then if Bliss and Cross win the women's tag team match, and then we split the other 2, then we.
It's very unlikely. Okay.
It's technically, like I said, it's technically possible. So you don't want to not do.
Jose wants to say something.
Just in case. All right. Because right now I cannot do the math. All right. We are going to go to a tiebreaker prediction. Okay. We are going to pick a tiebreaker, and no, we are not doing any of the world titles like we normally do for tiebreakers. We're picking the length of Edge and Randy Orton. I will not start because I want to hear what y'all say. Let's go with Pete. Let's go with Pete. Hey, whoa. To be fair, I've always went first anytime we do the tiebreakers. Shush.
Well, I already told you it's going to be a 60-minute Iron Man match, right? Are you actually going to go?
I said an extreme rules. Ouch.
No, okay, I said 60-minute time limit draw. Didn't say Iron Man match. No, I am going to go. It's probably going to go too long.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 26-10. I mean, it's going to go too long, but I'm going to go 26-10. There's not
26-10.
Not enough stuff in the undercard to fill the time.
RJ.
So their match at WrestleMania was like 40 minutes, something like that. 50 minutes, like something ridiculous.
I think.
So if they tape this one again, this is gonna have some length to it. And 27 is already long, and I didn't even really want to go over that, but I think I might go upwards of the 30-minute mark and say this will get done in 30 minutes and 41 seconds.
30-41?
Yeah. Again, not a big card. I think they're gonna give this a lot of length.
Andrew?
Wait. Have we considered the possibility that they filmed this cinematically?
No,
I think it's possible.
You could have a Gargano Ciampa style match.
That doesn't really affect my choice. 30 seconds or less. No. It's going to be like 33.15. 33.15.
You're giving me at least a couple minutes of wiggle room there, at least.
I was going to go a little bit lower.
Very, very thankful for that.
I was going to go a little bit lower, but then you picked that, so I'm like,
This is when
I'm not going to be that jerk.
26:09 to have the entirety of the under.
Oh, that's mean.
Yeah. See, now Wolf has me thinking. Because that could be cinematic. That wouldn't.
I don't think it will.
I don't think so either, but if it's taped already.
Not in like the Boneyard match kind of way.
No. I'm not saying it's a Boneyard match, but like kind of like what RG said, like the Gargano match that happened a little while back. It could be a thing.
Yeah, but remember that you had like Drew and Seth. That was technically taped in advance.
That's true.
Fair.
Yeah, but they weren't billing it as hard as they were this.
Well, no, but nobody's built anything as hard as they built this.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what my thinking is. If you're gonna build something like this, wouldn't you want to go all out, have like special effects and Hugh Jackman singing?
Please God, no! Do not make it like Gargano and Ciampa and give me 60 camera cuts every minute, though. Just
oh no, that match was terrible.
Please, at least if they are going to film it and they are going to do it cinematically, can we have good camera work? That's all I'm asking for.
26:09. Thank you guys. All right.
There you go.
There.
Did he just do what I think he did?
He did
math.
I'm gonna lock in the under at this rate.
He literally took my guess and went 1 second lower. Rather than pick what he thinks is going to be the time, he went, this gives me the biggest margin.
See, here's also why I picked it, because the last time we were going to the picks, I was scrambling to figure out how much seconds there was in between. Why not just realize the fact that I lost in a second rather than a minute or two?
RJ could have gone 26:11 as well, and then I would have literally had 1 second.
You would have to have gotten it right on, yeah.
Well,
can I change mine?
Gentlemen,
yeah, actually, I've changed mine. I'm going 26:08.
We're locked in.
Okay, Rabbit, you crossed this line.
We're locked in. All right.
We're just going to have one of those bidding wars where we keep going 1 second lower.
Do I hear 26:07? 26:07. Yes, Mr. Stacey.
To the guy in the green plaid.
I'll have 1 second. I'll have everything up with me.
Gentlemen, thank you as always for coming on. Again, as I said at the top of this discussion, if any main card matches are added on, they will be predicted off camera, and then next week we will present to you what picks we went. Again, if it does happen, unless there's like some weird R-Truth, Bobby Lashley situation for Money in the Bank. Sorry,
is RJ the next 24/7 champion?
Yes. Surprise. RJ doesn't live north of Toronto; he lives in Florida. Thank you guys. Let's get to the closing. You made it to the end of the episode. Let's run through that card one more time. If you're watching on YouTube, here's the graphic. If not, of course, I'll always verbally say it. If you're listening to wherever you get your podcasts, here we go. For the Raw Women's title, we all went with Asuka across the board. For Hardy, Sheamus, Wolf, RJ, myself went with Jeff Hardy. Pete went with Sheamus. For the Women's Tag Team titles, Wolf and Pete went with Sasha and Bayley. RJ and myself went with the Iconics. For the US title, we all went with Apollo Crews. For the Universal title, after that interesting discussion, myself and Pete, we went with Braun Strowman. Wolf and RJ actually went with Miz and Morrison. That should be entertaining. For the WWE title, we all went with Drew McIntyre across the board. And for the greatest wrestling match ever, everybody except for myself went with Randy Orton, as I went with Edge. And as for the tiebreaker, I went with 26 minutes and 9 seconds to take all of the under. Wolf went with 33:15. RJ went with 30:41. And Pete went with 26:10. And of course, as I mentioned in the discussion, if any match gets added on to the main card, it will be added on, and you will see those predictions next week. And hopefully that should really spice things up if something's added on, of course. And as a whole, I don't know what to expect for this pay-per-view. It should be something. I don't know what else to say. It should be something. But that's really all I gotta say. And as always, that is that. Thank you so much for watching. Become a patron. Help support the podcast. Submit topics when it's time for Patron of the Month. Facebook, Twitter, available wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe here on YouTube to hit that bell so you can get the latest notifications. I'm Jose Tawada. Thanks for watching and enjoy WWE Backlash.